Canopy is a nonprofit organization that plants, protects, and helps grow the urban forest in Palo Alto, East Palo Alto, and neighboring communities. Welcome to the Canopy tree planting video. I'm Program Director Michael Hawkins. Whether you are a new Canopy volunteer or you want to plant a tree in your backyard, this video explains the 6 simple steps to plant your new young tree. Trees planted by Canopy have an exceptional rate of establishment and survival as a result of our rigorous planting protocols. Before planting, carefully consider placement and site conditions. Visit canopy.org to consult the Canopy Tree Library for help selecting a species based on your desired characteristics, or use the Canopy online Arborist list to find a professional arborist to help you choose the right tree for the right place. If you are doing the planting yourself, call USA North at 811 2 working days before you dig to make sure you are clear of underground utilities. Large trees provide maximum urban forest benefits. Plant them wherever there is ample room. Always consider the tree's size at maturity when you are near power lines or other permanent hardscape features. Plant small or medium trees where space is limited. Remember, the tree planting season in California is from October to March, when the weather is usually cool and rainy. Here are the tools and materials that you will need to plant your young tree: a tarp, gloves, root pick if available, sharp pruners, shovels, 2 to 3 stakes, post pounders and hard hats, straps, hammer and nails, a hose or buckets of water, and mulch. Step 1. Prepare the tree. Remove the tree from its container. Lay the tree on its side with the root ball on a tarp. Be careful not to damage the branches in the canopy of the tree as you do this. Expose the root flare, the point where the tree widens and meets the roots, which can sometimes be covered by soil in the container. Work the roots free using gloves and a root pick or old pruners. Massage, loosen, and trim the roots. This step will likely take some time, but we have found that it is key to robust tree growth and performance. Roots should ideally radiate outwards from the center of the root ball. Cut off any circling roots perpendicular to the radius of the root ball just before the curve begins to prevent girdling. When circling roots get bigger, they can grow around the base of the tree and cut off the flow of water and nutrients, which can eventually limit the tree's growth or even kill it. When you are finished, cut the nursery ties and remove the nursery stake from the trunk of the tree. Fill in the hole left in the root ball with loose soil and be sure to dispose of the ties. Step 2. Prepare the planting site. Dig a hole 2 to 3 times as wide as the worked root ball to leave room for the expanded roots, but only as deep as the root ball so the roots can breathe. Roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. Place the removed soil on a tarp. Be sure to mix in any leftover soil from the container. Before putting the tree in the hole, make sure you are placing the tree in the middle of your planting hole and close to any installed irrigation like bubblers. Make sure you have the right planting depth. It is essential that the root flare lie just above ground level, up to 1 inch or 2. Add or remove soil as needed to get the desired planting depth. Tamp down any loose soil on the bottom of the planting hole to prevent settling. Lay a stake or shovel handle across the planting hole to gauge where the ground level is at the point of the root flare. Step 3. Plant the tree. Position the tree to minimize branch conflict with streets, walkways, and buildings, as well as the anticipated placement of the support stakes. Consider prevailing winds, placing 1 stake holding the tree back from the direction of the wind. Hold the tree upright and begin to slowly bring in removed soil back into the hole. Gently work soil into and around the root ball while spreading the roots as you go. Use a small shovel or gloved hands to eliminate large air pockets at the edge of the planting hole. Be careful not to damage the roots or the trunk of the tree at this stage. Step 4. Stake and tie the tree. We use 2 or 3 8x2 wooden stakes to support and protect the young tree as it grows. Set the first stake approximately 10 inches away from the trunk. Consider the natural lean of the tree, branch placement, and other site factors while placing the stakes. Always wear a hard hat while using or standing near someone who is using the stake pounder. Lean the top of the stake down to slide on the stake pounder. Drive the stake in while someone else watches to make sure it goes in straight. Adjust as needed as you go. Pound the stake until it is firmly set. Be careful not to lift the stake pounder so high that it falls off. Repeat with the second or third stakes spaced equally around the tree. Prune back branches that will rub against the stakes or shorten the stake using a sharp saw. Next, tie the tree. Tie placement will depend on the height of the tree and branch placement. Place the ties not so high that the tree can't move and not so low that it will bend over, usually about 4 to 6 feet from the ground for a 15-gallon tree. Create a figure 8 pattern with a tie, with one loop around the trunk of the tree and the other around the stake. Pull tight and tuck the excess back through the open end, and drive one nail through the tucked-in tie. Leave the nail slightly protruding for easy removal when the stakes are no longer needed. Step 5. Build a berm and water the tree. Once all of the soil is back in the planting hole, use the excess to build a mound or berm around the roots, about 10 to 12 inches from the trunk. This will create a basin to hold water as it percolates through the soil and to the roots. If you have irrigation installed, make sure it remains within the watering basin. Pack down the edges of the berm so they won't wash away. Wait until after you've staked the tree before you apply water and mulch. Now water the tree thoroughly. Fill the basin with water and reinforce the berm if needed. Wiggle the trunk slightly to settle soil around the root ball. Continue watering once a week when there has not been a soaking rain for the first year. Begin watering less often but more deeply during the second and third dry seasons until established. Step 6. Add mulch. Choose mulch composed of wood chips, shredded bark, or leaves. Spread the mulch 4 to 6 inches deep, about 4 to 6 feet around the base of the tree, inside, outside, and on top of the watering basin. Mulch suppresses weeds, retains moisture, and improves soil composition. Be sure to keep it about an inch from the trunk and root flare to prevent decay. Your tree is now planted. Thanks for taking the time to learn the proper way to plant a tree. Check out our website to receive the How to Plant a Tree brochure, to learn about tree care and other ways to get involved with Canopy.